using my angular brush, and I've got a 0 round brush. This is a Sable. You can use just about anything you want. I've even used fabric painters spotter brushes. They work just fine. I like the Sable. It feels good. The bristles bend very easily, and they hold a lot of paint, which is really important to me. I'm going to do the pupil right now. I've got a little bit of liquid on my brush. I'm going to dip into the black. Mostly what you see is black. I am going to add a little bit of red to warm it up. Especially it'll help to stand out against the bluish color in his eyes. I'm making this just really dark. Some people would call this brown. I call it black. This is pretty thick paint. I do want it to be opaque. I don't want you to be able to see through it, so I'm not mixing a whole lot of liquid into it. Also, ivory black is kind of it is a transparent color, so anytime you mix another color in with it, the more colors you mix, the more opaque a color will get. I'm going to come in here balancing my fingernail on the wet paint, and I'm going to paint in his pupil. And pupils are round. However, the color that comes in around them, you have all kinds of parts to your eye, and they kind of have like a starry edge to them. Sometimes the light will hit it and it'll make it look a little bit of a different shape. So basically you want to go for round, but look at the edges of them. You just go in the mirror and look at your own eye. It's just not a perfect circle. Big part of painting is just looking and seeing. Brush out. I'm going to come around the edge of the cornea. I'm going to dip my brush back into liquid. I'm going back into the blue. Lots of over there. And add some into the red. And again, I've got my purple. Just one of my favorite mixes in the world. I'm going to lay the brush down, pull back, and twist. I want this to come to a point. I'm going to take it up here and go around the edge of the cornea. A lot of times you see a dark ring. Just picking up a little more paint. And coming to this side. Deepening the color over here. A little more pigment on the brush. Just didn't want to stick right here, so I just picked up a little bit more. Alright. Okay. I'm getting somewhere with that one, I think. Pause for a second, and I'll see you in a little while. I'm going to let this layer of glaze dry, and the next thing to do will be to put more blues into the flesh, and I'll also be starting to add very light areas on here. Thanks. Picked up a little bit of cobalt blue on my 5/8" angular brush. I dipped it into the liquid and pulled it over, touching the blue, and I'm coming out here and making a very thin pile of it. You can tell there's just very little color. I'll pull it across the white there, very little. I'm going to come in and start doing the shadow areas on John's face. The darkest areas are going to be starting over here on the left, inside the ear. This is again just a blush of color. I'm going to go on up into the hairline. It helps to put blue in the hair. Blue is often a real good base color for hair in general. Hair is often some shade of brown, whether it be a reddish brown or a blonde will have underlying brown tones to it. Again, using the tip of my brush to lay the paint in, and I'm using the short end to blend it. I blend this out into this part of the ear where it's caved in that area. A little more blue in this area. And of course people are not blue, but this is an underlying color. The glazes go on usually one pure color at a time, and they're put on in layers so that you see red over blue over red over blue, several layers, and they will act a whole lot like layers of stained glass, one laying on top of the other, so that the end color you'll see is a purple if you do red and blue. And I'm going to go ahead and continue to lay this in over the face. The lower part of John's face is the darkest. I'm going to finish up layering on this blue. Be back in a minute and go into another color. I'm going to point out that I'm going to take this blue on up into the hairline. You'll see I've dipped into a little bit of red. Using chopping strokes, following the direction of the hair growth, not worried about making individual hairs at this point. Especially trying to fill in some of the darker areas. Light areas in John's hair will not show up without dark. I've got to put some dark in behind him. It's got a few wisps coming in this direction. I'm not going to worry too much about the hairs that are going over the face right now at this point, because I still have a lot more blending that I want to do on the face. Again, I'm just roughing out the direction of the hair.